This is Rich Lieberman. We're live here on the Wednesday Bay Area Media Pulse. And I have to come out and talk about this because it's very important, especially because it involves me. And those of you that will be annoyed and agitated, sorry, this is about me now and how me trying to do what I thought was the proper thing to do and currently is the proper thing to do, but I don't know about that anymore with regards to my survival. And I'm talking about the whole Ron Owens deal and Ron and Jan Black with regards to the situation, the legal drama that has been now over hell 2.5 years with regards to Laura Owens. Those of you that again will be agitated because I also have to repeat this story and I'll get to the heart and soul of it in a second. I apologize in that regard. But just to go back and give you a little history. I was a friend, continued to marvel and to be appreciative and respectful for Ron as he enters the sunset years of his life. I don't think he's doing that well right now. And I'm not just talking about medical, I'm talking about his overall state of being with regards to his daughter's situation, very taxing on one's mental being and otherwise, even in normal circumstances as you age in life. But I largely stayed away from the Laura Owens travails because I hadn't even been involved in it. I saw very, very, very minute kind of news accounts of what was happening as this story has taken twists and turns and caught many, many people the proverbial deer in headlights kind of reaction. We just were shocked, as was I. Am I? So I called Ron and we had kind of a come to Jesus moment. And I asked him about the whole deal. And then suddenly his wife, Jan Black, got involved. And they talked to me. We had multiple conversations, which I've detailed here about what is happening. But I stayed away from it. And as I stayed away from it, I myself began to get word via my own emails and speculation and texts and all that I was somehow paid off, that they gave me hush money, which was not the case. I haven't received a penny, not a penny, because I didn't talk about it. I talked more about the fact in subsequent weeks and months that the GoFundMe money was in question and people like myself publicly, though, since I am a quasi member of the media, used to work in traditional media, and now I'm here, good. I stayed away from that, but concentrated on what was going on with Ron and Jan and the amount of lawyers and legal bills that were amassing. That was my end of it. And to also talk about the fact that Ron was a very, very well renowned, not just the Bay Area, but national radio figure, being a member of the Radio Hall of Fame, a Marconi winner, all that stuff. It tried to cover it because largely the San Francisco press has not covered it. And I have my own reasons as to why that's the case. You guys know that. So I stayed away from it once again. Then I began talking about it because of what I just described. Where's the money going? How are they paying for 7, 8 lawyers and all of that? Now, it turns out in one of the documents, the legal papers, that indeed they are paying for a lawyer, some guy named Josh. I can't pronounce his last name and I don't want to butcher it, but he is being paid That's not why I'm here. Then a few months back, I'm getting accused of that's all I'm talking about is the Ron Owens, Laura Owens, Jan Black situation. Yeah, you see, I can't win for trying. So it's the proverbial catch 22. And now it is personal because some of those people who've gone after me and railing for me because I dare bring it up again, they don't think it's a story, have gone after me in terms of trying to negate my means of supporting myself, of being on YouTube and the YouTube people donating to my cause, and then my people in the Bay Area who follow me so they can get news about the media goings on in San Francisco because the Chronicle doesn't cover media anymore. Same for the other newspapers like the Mercury News. They went after my account. They tried to at least. But all of this has hurt me now. And I'm in the middle of all this crap. That has not stopped me from continuing to try to report this story. And as I have stated, I have pretty much stayed within the non Laura Owens end and have asked questions, including to Owens and Jan Black herself. Where are they spending that money? Have they, in essence, paid for attorneys? And it appears now that at least one has been paid. There are several lawyers. But it affects me because I'm getting railroaded, folks, on both ends here. And I'm not a vast wasteland of money and financial beings to where I could continue to broadcast and do all of this because I've been hit myself now and affected by it. Want to talk about an irony. Meanwhile, I go to the GoFundMe account and it continues to draw donations. But now, as I reported yesterday, there are people now wondering where their donations went. But as I looked on there, there's some very prominent people who have donated money to Ron, like a former mayor of San Jose. Tom McHenry gave $500, but there's a lot more. Go on there, take a look. There are people who have donated $5,000 and $1,000 and $2,000. A lot of these people are very, very well-to-do, well-heeled, well-heeled members of the community, and just wantonly just gave the money. There are some people, as I also said yesterday, who are on fixed incomes. A lot of them elderly people. The same people now, it appears, who have questions as to where the money went. Why is it being so hush hush from the people like Ron and Jan who have tried to kind of basically become quiet, which they have? The Chronicle, not a word about it. Oh, they did a ketchup story and all that, a CYA story. But that's about it. And they let a very benign statement go by with any kind of follow up or challenge. Now, as I said, the money, it's documented, it's in the legal papers that in fact some money has gone to the lawyer. Some guy named Joss, I want to butcher his last name. Some of you will tell me that. And I'm going to look down here. Thank you for some. But back to me. And I have no embarrassment whatsoever about bringing this up because it involves me. It does. You know, the easiest thing to have done, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but I am saying this, was to ignore this and just continue to talk about other things. But to ignore it would have shown to me to be completely absolutely ridiculous, pathetic. Some of the very things I criticize the San Francisco Bay Area press for, had I ignored this, then I'd be in the same boat, justifiably. And no, I'm not a part of the mainstream press here. I'm not. There's a good and a bad in that regard. The bad is the fact that they can still get money and have a boatload of cash like Hearst Corporation, which owns the Chronicle, and continue to not report this and only report on it, for example, the GoFundMe money and its whereabouts when absolutely necessary. I'm not in that situation, but to not talk about it at all would A, give the impression that indeed I was paid off, which I was not, that there was hush money somehow went my way. No. I brought it up. I've talked about it. I've made attempts, multiple attempts to go to Ron and to Jan, and they watch this show. They know it, yet they haven't offered anybody or anything or even some proxy to explain where the money was, despite the fact that they have a very, very generous, some would say Cadillac health plan that would cover health coverage, comprehensive, which was one of the main reasons they said why they were in need of money. Part of the life's complicated and the obstacles that have brought us here, they said, in asking for donations, which now have raised almost $150,000. And it's personal now, folks, because I've been left in the loop and my monies are down. Because maybe somehow people think that I'm in the cahoots myself, which is utterly ridiculous. Because I wouldn't have been talking about this, again, being questioned from the Bay Area audience that I have and others who, by the way, lambast me, ridicule me, uh, put me in scorn eternally because I have the dare, objective, and balls and chutzpah to talk about Ron and Laura and Jan. Well, if that's the case, I'd stay away from this. I would. I'd capitulate. But as I just told you, I can't because it's a story. I've asked numerous Bay Area media people, some still working, many who have retired, and they agree with me. That's not why I did it. That's not why I continue to cover it. But now that I find out that some in the cast of Ron and Laura and Jan Black minions are suddenly going after me and trying to negate my ability to get donations, which I absolutely need to survive, to live, and to breathe, and to drink, yes, 7-Eleven fucking coffee. While they're in their $1.7 million Arizona home, and I have commiserated with them. I have said the fact I can't imagine what they're going through with their daughter in legal turbulence and some of the accusations that she's put forward, which may or may not have hurt a lot of innocent men. Having not talked about that and trying to cover this story on that end, on the GoFundMe end, the bankruptcy end, and now myself, me, myself, and I am the scorn and the ridicule of various people. I wish I had an iota of their following in that regard because that's a lot of money. 135, 130, 150 grand, whatever it is. But I now am in the crosshairs of trying to do what I think is fair, and that is to give a legitimate account, a real chronicle of what's taking place. and to show the good people, the most of good people on YouTube, that this story is not 100% ignored by the quote legitimate San Francisco press, which has done a piss poor job of covering this. Maybe they're involved in it too, because they don't like the fact that I call them out. They don't like the fact that I've ridiculed them and scorned them for not talking about the whole deal and not challenging and doing proper journalistic 101A technique, which says call and ask follow-up questions. And if they don't want to answer and they don't want to inquire, they being Ron and Jan, okay, you did your job at least. Let the other chips fall. But at least you tried. They haven't even tried. I have gone out of my way to try to get comments, to try to investigate, and they've said nothing, they being Ron and Jan. Mind you, the same individuals who went out of their way to contact me more than once, more than twice, and to try to get the word out a couple of months ago that the GoFundMe money was not being spent on lawyers. Now I find out, indeed, it has been on at least one lawyer, probably a lot more. Because as I also said, lawyers too have to eat and breathe and pay for college for their kids, and bread and water and milk and homes and security and cars and all that. They don't do a lot of pro bono cases. And even when they do, they eventually get paid. I stayed away from that for a while and was, again, being lambasted here and perhaps beyond of not covering it. That I was sucking up to Ron, that I was kissing the ass and ignoring it. And I wasn't. I stayed away from Laura because I didn't know the depth. I didn't go into the legal weeds and all that. Meanwhile, now finding out what all the hullabaloo was all about. Some very, very serious charges. But even at that point, I stayed on the financial situation here and just where is the money going? And I find out now. And where is the San Francisco press? Probably busy near their computers finding out the latest great place to get a burrito in the Mission District or a taco in Fisherman's Wharf. All the while, their underlings, their interns, not part of the Ron and Jan Black and Laura Owens minions, the Amen corner, fucking with me and my ability to stay alive and to survive and to report all of this. And I myself now, as I just said, in the crosshairs and not being able to live and to breathe and just to survive. Because I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Now, I haven't gone on and lambasted and ripped into Ron because he hasn't spoke to me. It's not an ego thing. It's the fact that when it was convenient for him and Jan to talk to me and to go out of their way to contact me, which they did, everything's hunky-dory. But when I try and have tried to get them to comment, at least make any kind of a comment, and they've become mum for now over 2 months. And now it's affecting me, or it has been actually. I've become public about it now because I can check and have been told now, geez, I wonder why I haven't gotten this or that or something. And I found out that they've gone after me. And I don't know what to think of now. I don't know what to say or what to think. Oh, I've got a lot to say. I'm just kind of sitting here, and now I'm a little pissed. Now, for those of you who come to the conclusion I'm not suddenly going to stop talking about this, well, you got major news breaking. I'm not going to stop talking about this because It's a story. And those of you in San Francisco and the Bay Area who continue to kick me, metaphorically speaking, and otherwise, and want to go out of your way to affect my ability to just be solvent and to pay for a fucking cup of coffee, I'm still going to cover it. Don't read me. Don't watch me. Stay away. I don't need you. I don't want you. I don't want your support. I don't need your support. Your support is to try to hurt me in other ways and to try to affect my ability to cover the story that needs to be covered and to go after me and my means to where I can go out and take care of myself and support my ability to buy fucking 7-Eleven coffee. Shame on you. And yes, I have lauded the YouTube community for staying here and giving me props and to basically tell me not to quit and give up. All the while some going out of their way to try to hurt me. I wondered aloud in my own mind, geez, I wonder why that account is all dried up. I wonder why I'm not able to buy my lighting and to pay for certain things like the internet, like my cable setup, which I still have to have because in order to do and to represent and to cover media, I have to have means to get cable in my house. Not all can survive on streaming because streaming is pretty much confined to entertainment. I was adamant to Ron and Jan. I reflected a sympathetic note like, I can't imagine what you're dealing with. I'm not a parent, but if I were, I don't know what I would do. And I said that because I don't know what I would do. But the fact, Ron, that you stay silent, now with word, it's public that you're paying a lawyer. Why did you then declare bankruptcy? You had financial problems. You denied that it was going, the money, and that's a lot of money, 150,000 or whatever it is. I'm in the same neighborhood. And Jan, why have you ignored the fact that people are now asking questions about that money? And once again, the Bay Area, I repeat, the Bay Area media doesn't cover this. Burritos in the Mission District, the best restaurant in San Francisco, where if you wear a tank top, they'll let you in free while you get a free hamburger. Taco Bell Cantina openings in Fisherman's Wharf, for God's sakes. That's what you're covering. A shameful act of ridiculousness. Pathetic. And now I find out, too, that some of you have gone after me and messed with my ability to earn a living, to just stay above ground while trying to cover this, in which I continue to say, I will do my best to cover this. But folks at Facebook, folks at YouTube and Instagram and wherever you're watching this, Twitter, X, Blue Skies, I need your help in order to survive. I'm not asking for $150,000. I'm asking for just those of you who have the means to help me continue to be able to do what I do. I'm not the sexiest looking man. I don't have a family, but I have expenses like the rest of you. And I worry and moan and bitch every day, just like you, about making sure my lights are turned on and that I can have a sandwich and not alfalfa sprouts and Gouda cheese sandwiches like the assholes who sit at their fucking computers for SF Gate so they can hunt down red burritos in the Mission. That's their devotion to journalism. So yeah, it's selfish. It's me now. And this story takes twists and turns every other minute. And I'm trying my best to give you guys, everybody for that matter, even those that hate me and ridicule me and mock me and try to limit my means, if not altogether, to try to put me out to pasture and get me out of here and threaten me with notifications that they're going to call Facebook and they're going to call YouTube and try to get me banned from YouTube. So I ask every one of you right now out there, subscribe to my channel. If you can, those of you in the chat now, and I'll get to you in a second, to do what you can to help me. I'm not looking for money so I can go take a French Riviera vacation. I'm asking for donations, folks, so I can survive. I'm not parting the Red Sea. I don't have a cure, unfortunately, for cancer or diabetes. I'm not in that realm, nor have I ever said or even joked about or inferred that I was. I'm just in the middle, somebody trying to be relevant, somebody trying to stay transparent, and to give the impression, dare I say, God forbid, that I am trying to be a journalist to cover something that has been ignored for the most part in San Francisco, the fifth market. Shame on you. And has thus, I guess, made an impact enough because now I've drawn scorn. Because dare I talk about this? Dare I try to cover it? And now they're going after me. Ron's not responsible for some of the yutzes who have gone after me and try to limit my means, forget limit, who tried to evaporate my means to earn some kind of, whether it's donations, contributions, however you want to call it. But it's affecting me. It has affected me. But somebody has to cover something. Somebody has to be there to account and to talk about various twists and turns and all that, because I'm repeating it till I'm blue in the face. It is a story. If you don't think it's a story and you want nothing to do with this and you think it's boring, or you think there's no there, or if you're tired of reading about Ron, then I didn't put a gun to your head and tell you that you had to follow me or watch me. You know, the irony of all ironies is I've continued to try to cover and to give my opinion about media analysis in the Bay Area and beyond. I talked about CNN. I've talked about news accounts of the latest mass shootings and how it's covered on Fox and MSNBC and CNN. I'm working on numerous stories. I've ridiculed KTVU and tried to understand why they continue to get lambasted by not just me, but others. I've tried to do my gig to provide news to all of you, mostly Bay Area people, about the comings and goings on of San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Bay Area media. All the while, yes, talking about Ron and Laura Owens and Jan Black and the lawyers and the GoFundMe and the bankruptcy and all of this, because it's the right thing to do. People want to know. You don't have to be a professor or journalistic king, aficionado, to acknowledge and to realize that this is a story. It involves, yes, tabloidish, TMZ-ish type of elements, but that's basically why it's getting so much coverage, except in San Francisco. And San Francisco press may not want to cover it because their bosses have gone out of their way quietly to try to limit, if at all, cover this, because it's one of their own who is at the centerpiece of it all, even though it involves his daughter. But now it's involving him and has been, and his wife too. For me, it's very conflicting, folks. Yes. I'm not a friend with Ron anymore. That was long ago. We don't socialize. We don't talk every other day. We don't schmooze or text or what have you. I was never really that close to Jan. She was more a different type of a individual. I mostly hung out with Ron. Didn't even meet the daughters. So I've tried to do a couple of things. I've tried to cover it all the while being, yes, sympathetic to Ron without being a friend, and to try to get him and Jan to talk about it. And even if they didn't want to talk about it, which, I've stated this a million times, Ron was going to come on my show. And we were not going to discuss Laura Owens because that's pending legal appearances in courthouse situations. And there's a case that's going to take place in January. So, of course, he's not going to talk about it and can't talk about that. And of course, I said that. But to talk about Ron and his life and Jan, what are they going on? How has this affected them? How are they doing now? Where has their mindset be? What are some of the situation with regards to GoFundMe? Although that's kind of a broader type of a question and an area which they probably couldn't answer either because it may lead to present day Laura Owens minutia. Get that. I wanted to talk mainly about Ron's contribution for the past 40 years, San Francisco media. Same thing with Jan. But they couldn't talk. He couldn't talk. Understood. We didn't get into that. I haven't spoken to him for now about 6 to 8 weeks. And I explained to them that I understand if they can't go lengthy, they can't talk about certain things, but they can talk about the GoFundMe. They've denied that the money has gone to lawyers and legal expenses, which is now apparently bullshit because one of the lawyers has been paid off of that fund. And as I have told you now here, repeating myself, I'm sorry, but some of their yamos, their amen corner, has tried to hurt me financially and take away my means just to pay for expenses and things and expenses like internet and cable and phone and all the expenses and me occasional a cup of coffee and a bad turkey sandwich from 7-Eleven. Meanwhile, they have $150,000 going their way. And questions now about, well, if some money is being paid for the lawyer, where's the other money going to? Very legitimate questions, I may add. So, in finality here, folks, and I don't say this sanctimoniously, I'm not trying to be righteous. I'm a fucking blogger. I'm not minimizing my own ability to give to you guys. And I thank all of you, and I mean that. People like all of you up here, um, and Lauren Knighty, Miss Lauren, and Dave Neal, who very, very nicely, without me asking, have said to help me out and to make donations, or at the very least become a subscriber to my channel, to which I profess to say thank you. And that money goes to me being able to pay expenses and to do a show daily and to talk about things that nobody talks about or analyze and be critical. Yes, that's what I do. I'm critical, but I'm not just critical towards San Francisco press, the little press that we have, considering we're a top 10 market. It's to talk about the media conglomerates, is to talk and to chastise companies like Cumulus and Odyssey Intercom for the manner in which they handle radio acquisitions and the way they manipulate and marginalize existing media, to which San Francisco doesn't have pretty much any radio anymore. And why we've been with our own their own ineptitude, have a stinking, thin, physical San Francisco Chronicle newspaper and a shitty sfchronicle.com and an even further crappier SF Gate, which talks about burritos and Taco Bells and the greatest restaurant. If you want restaurant news, that's where you get it. If you want real news, good luck. Not even fake news, because they don't talk about news. They talk about Taco Bell opening in the Mission or in Fisherman's Wharf. They talk about Halloween costumes coming out in July. That's their hard news. It's a joke. Let me see if I can read some of these. Who are the Yahoos, Rich? Um, Bruce, they're all out there. And, a lot of them they pick these pseudonyms or these fake, internet names. And I get all that. I know some of you have different names because you want to be private, which I understand because you got public jobs or maybe you just don't want to be exposed. But if you make accusations and all that, I get that. You want to have privacy. I can't identify them, Bruce, specifically, but I know they're out there because I know what they've done and I've looked at my various accounts and I have very limited means to continue to do what I do. So when and people have said, well, you got to start a GoFundMe. No, no, no. GoFundMe is for people that really need something, that a tragedy has befallen them and they have, I know the other day, this is very common, but some woman, single mother, and her son were in some kind of an accident. I think the mother died. The family is very sparse, and they needed money to go pay for a funeral. And they got somebody sent them a big donation and all that. But I'm not in that realm yet. I'm just a guy here trying to stay alive. And mind you, the San Francisco press hates me. Some of you might say, well, that's pretty bad. No, I look at that as a badge of honor because they know I'm up on them. I never said and continue to say I'm some Boy Scout. I have lived myself, folks, a very flawed life. This is my means of trying to be transparent and trying to point out certain things and issues and opinions that I give openly. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. I occasionally try to report news like I did today. If you guys look at my X account about a various, San Francisco media and people getting promotions or leaving, I'm still trying to do that, all the while offering, yes, opinions and assessments of what I regard as a marginalized media, the little media that we have here in the Bay Area. So that's my gig, if you will. I would love, if I could, to go back to a traditional work environment where I can earn a living and do something which I was very successful at doing, but I have limited ways of getting out now because of various physical ailments. My wheels aren't that good. Eyes aren't that great. I still get out and about. But this is what I do. I think there's been a good trade-off in that regard because I continue and will continue as long as I'm still here and they don't put me out to pasture, which is what they're trying to do. I will still try to cover things that take place here and beyond and even beyond, because that's what I've chosen to do. And yes, I have an opinion. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. I encourage disagreements and debate. But in this Laura Owens situation and all that, I was late to the game myself because I didn't even really know what was going on. And then I came, and now I don't want to say it again and again and again. I don't want to start repeating myself. I already have. So I don't have the sexiest look. I don't have the most elaborate backdrops with monitor banks and little bobbleheads and bookcases that look as if they were cleaned and vacuumed every day. No, I have my face, which is scary enough. And I have my belief that many people, they want the truth. They want to hear an opinion or two. They want a place where they can opine and to talk about the things that largely, again, the Bay Area press does not cover. There's no accountability. There's a guy that used to be a KGO radio talk host, and I'm not talking about Ron. He tries to do a KGO radio show. Mark Thompson, I'll go out and say it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. And he gets donations up the yin yang too. He doesn't take calls. He does texts, I guess, and all that. And I've been critical of him because I know things about him that he didn't disclose, and that how he basically knew that KGO was going to be wiped out and didn't say a word. A cumulus kiss ass is what I referred to him as. But that's okay. He could do all that. And people love him because he's trying to be like KGO, which will never happen. He wasn't even part of the KGO years ago that they blew out and brought in these Neanderthals, these has-beens. I don't have the money, the donations that that guy has. I have me and I have you. Or I don't have you, which means I don't have a show. It's as simple as that. I'm not always as entertaining as I would like to be, but I've tried to mix up this site with comedy, with opinions, with a lively interaction and all that. And I've largely able to survive, but that's just it, to survive. And I need a little bit more now just to survive, that kind of a thing. So all we can do is apologize for our mistakes. And yeah, well, of course, that's also from Bruce. Amy Bonner. Let's see here. Amy, thanks for all you have done. Thank you, Amy, and breaking it down. And folks, I'm not really good. If I've been repetitive in some of the things I say, I apologize too. But there are a lot of people that come in, and it's like, the internet now and YouTube, it's sort of like the radio still. People tune in, they tune out, they're getting in their car, they're getting out of their car and all that. But so I'm somewhat repetitious. I apologize, but that's anyway. Okay, enough of that. I get to listen to you. This is from let's see, Janet. I get to listen to you taking financials again. Oh, talking finance. Janet, if you don't want to listen to me, then don't come here. Why come here then? I'm not telling you, Janet. I'm not controlling you. Janet, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so sorry. Don't want me to talk about financials. It's at the heart of the story now, Janet. There's a lot of money. There's almost $200,000 that has been raised. And they saying that the money wasn't going to lawyers, and now we know that it's gone to at least one lawyer and probably more. So, Janet, love you. Maybe. If you don't want to listen to me, go somewhere else. I'm sorry. I can't think of anything else to say it. Let's see here. Is this the super chat? I guess no. Amy, let's see. She wants to listen to you, but it was curious about the financials. Well, she didn't sound that way, but whatever. Bruce, check out Martha Ross' latest articles. And by the way, there's some people too, not Dave Neal and not Lauren. They have taken, and it's obvious, what I say, and then they steal it and go on their own shows. Like this gal, this Martha, or not Martha, Megan Fox, or not Megan Fox. Oh my God. Somebody named Megan, who basically the other day did something that I was talking about very specifically. And now she was talking about a subject matter that was very unique to me. And they don't have the class to at least acknowledge where they got it from. This is pertinent, and this is not just something very generic. I've always said if you get something specific, and I'll at least offer what's called a hat tip to the person or the organization or the site where you got it, even if it's huge, you have to. It's called journalistic 101A, journalistic not relevant. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Courtesy, professional courtesy. Thank you. Brain, which is going now. Let's see. That's something let's see. Hi there, lovely people. That's a greeting. Okay. So I'm on here and I will let it be known on X or Twitter or my own site, Rich Lieberman 415 Media, um, other information and text you with regards to this. But finally, again, my email address is rich.lieberman, Lieberman, at gmail.com. You can also make a PayPal donation up on my site. Um, my text number is 415 999 4454. And again, if you want to become a follower, a subscriber here on YouTube, all donations are appreciated. Nothing is too small. The more of you that donate, obviously, that helps me continue to be able to pay and to put on a new show or shows for that matter every day, at least during the week, if not on the weekends. And I've been posting a lot of stuff on the weekends too. If you want to read me again, or more than likely now, watch me. I have a Google page called Rich Lieberman 415 Media. So my voice is starting to go again. I need water, and I will be back later in the day, and we'll get some information to you on the ongoing developments that is the Bay Area and national media throughout. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Please, please, please support me and 415 Media. Thank you.